Greetings.
Greetings. Welcome to Film Gazers, a podcast focusing on the science fiction, horror, fantasy trinity and 20th century entertainment. I'm Steph.
I'm Jess. We are cousins slash besties. Join us as we reminisce, discuss, and review films from our childhood.
We are in the throes of Leo season.
The throes of it.
And
I've been enjoying myself.
yeah, it's been August. So-
Yeah, it has been.
It's, I have been, it is definitely the month of the sun because I feel like I've been hotter almost. There was that week in July that was real bad too, but I don't know. This month has been terrible.
It has been hotter than July. I agree.
Yeah. But I just feel always sweaty like this month to where I cannot say it's been pleasant.
No, I'm just so used to that at this point that I'm like, I just
Well,
you just
and
have to take at least 2 showers a day.
yeah, I mean, you really do. Plus, I've been sick and I've been getting over a cold, so maybe that's also probably contributed to it, to be honest.
A little
Um,
feverish.
yeah, but yeah, so that's Leo season, guys. And we haven't released as of yet, we haven't released the Long Leggies mini-sode, but we did record it already. So that should be releasing, if not before this, right? Maybe after it. I don't
It'll
know.
be around that time.
Okay.
It's having
We'll
a
get to
little
it
bit of
when
fun.
we get to it. Like I said, it's been hot, you
Been
guys.
hot. It's been hard to drag myself up off the couch.
Yeah, I mean, any movement, instant sweat. Um, I, I did decide the theme for September.
Oh,
That
okay.
was kind of the birthday stuff we did because Jessica chose August. I chose September now, and I went with a sinful September.
Oh, duh.
Ooh.
I knew that.
Were you waiting for the big reveal too?
I was like, it's gonna be a surprise. It's like, duh, we already
Second.
talked about movies, didn't we?
Yes. So that's so funny. Sinful September. I chose Stigmata. It's going with a religious kind of horror theme. Yeah,
Hmm.
you are still torn between two,
No,
is what you
I
said.
have decided
Oh, you have decided. Would you like to big reveal?
the big reveal. I'm going with frailty.
Nice.
Noise.
I don't even remember what the other option was.
Obviously I don't either, since I forgot we already discussed this. It was something along, I feel like that time frame.
Yeah.
Constantine. It was
Oh,
Constantine.
Constantine. There we
Yeah.
go.
Which that's a good one, but I'm gonna save that one because that one could be in multiple categories, I feel like.
It could, yeah, it really could. Yeah. We could do even like a Keanu appreciation.
Oh yeah.
Keanu. Yeah.
Keanu.
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 So, so what you been watching? What you been doing?
I finished Fourth Wing, the first book in the series of the Empyrean.
Noise.
And
Noise.
I noise. I recommend it. I really enjoyed reading it. I'm already into the second book. Cannot
Very
remember the name of that
cool.
one, but I'm
You're like, I'm into
quarter of
it,
the
but I
way
don't
through it
remember
already.
what's
Something fire, scorch maybe. It
in
sounds very dragon-esque. Yeah,
it.
I'm digging it. I'm very into this new style of fantasy rom-com. Not rom-com. There's not really comedic, but romance fantasy. Not really young adult, but it's written like that. That's kind of why I like it. It's written like young adult, but it
It,
has more adult themes.
yes, like I have a coworker who is also into the ACOTAR or whatever they that
Yeah.
series, and she just finished it and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna just restart start it again." And
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like romance a lot. So like just when it's straight up like romance fan, like to me it has to have the comedy. Or I'm
Really?
not down.
I
I
don't mind
don't
it
know
in
why.
I don't mind it in books, especially.
Or it has to be very tragic. Like it has to be very tragic romance.
I like it when it's like
I
adventure
don't know
romance.
why.
I like adventure
I
romance.
Yeah, maybe I should just give it a shot now that I'm
That's why I
older.
like the fantasy romance because it's still like
Mhm.
there's dragons, they're dragon riders, and they're wearing leather. Like it's sexy, okay? And then like the main guy's got like a scar from like his forehead to his chin, like it's not regular romance.
He's completely disfigured, so you'll like it better.
So he's kind of a big sloppy monster.
Yeah, that's okay. Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So it's satisfying. I like it. But anyway, so I
So other
finished.
than the will to fourth wing.
Other than that, I've been still on RuPaul's Drag Race. I finished
Cool.
season 16 and then went back and restarted season 15 because I liked it that much.
Oh,
Season 16
nice.
was kind of like but season 15 was very good.
I don't remember the numbers anymore in the people, so I'll
Yeah,
have to probably go back and even rewatch a lot after probably 12 or 13, I think.
they're all on Paramount Plus. That's
Okay,
where I've
I
been
have
watching.
that. Mm.
And then yesterday, as you know, not you, the people, but you, Stephanie, you, the people,
Yes. Yes,
um,
the internet was
the
down.
internet was down in my area, the whole area for almost all day. It was pretty tragic. So
You realize how much
I
you revolve on the internet for, yeah, like watching stuff now.
so I hooked up my DVD player that has never been out of the box, bought it, and then stored it
Brand
for
new.
a rainy day. It was
Smart.
like 8 years ago. It was brand new. So I hooked. Yeah, it's been a while now. So I hooked that up and I watched Heart and Souls. I don't remember the
Why do I
American name.
never remember this movie?
I Because it's one of my favorites. It has Robert Downey Jr. in it. And it's where people there's like 4 or 5 people that die in a bus accident and they're tied to this little boy or this baby's born at the same time
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
Okay,
so
okay,
they're
okay,
and it's got
okay.
the lady
Yeah.
from oh my gosh, nope, just totally forgot. We were watching something and she was in it and I was like, oh my god, it's like Souls.
Oh, wasn't it a Star Trek movie?
Yes, yes, yes,
Was that
yes,
it?
I think it
Yeah,
was First
yeah.
Contact. Yeah, it has
Yes,
her in
yes,
it
yes.
because she's like the mom character.
Noise.
And Robert Downey Jr. and
That's so
Elizabeth
funny.
Shue. Forgot she was in it. So it has a
There
high
you
A-list
go.
cast of characters. It's got the guy from Beethoven. The dad from Beethoven. He's in it.
The tip. Oh, oh,
You know who I'm talking about.
damn, I know his name too, and I can't now that I know it, I can't say it. Like it's poof gone.
Now that I know it.
Hmm. You know? You
I
know?
know. I know what you mean. But yeah, so I've been doing that. And it was
Nice.
a surprise to me. I was like, oh, this looks like shit. The DVD player hooked up to my TV. I was like, this looks terrible.
Yeah.
I was like, this might as well be a VHS. It's that kind of quality.
You're like it's a little pixelated.
It's very pixelated, but the movie still held up. I recommend it.
I have just been getting by. I haven't been like overwatching anything lately. I've been trying to like just do, yeah, like other kind of things around the house that I've been trying to get done. So in between, am watching Unsolved Mysteries, both the new one on Netflix and the original on
Mm-hmm.
because my TV auto goes, I have a Samsung and it goes to like the Samsung cable is what I call it. But yeah, it just plays old original unsolved mysteries. So Robert Stack has been a lot
Can't go wrong with
in
that.
my house.
He's got snake eyes to me.
He's very piercing eyes
Yeah,
for sure.
yes.
And I'm like, don't look at me, Robert Stack.
You see through me. Like, I would not want him to interrogate me. I'd be like, what do you want to know? I'll tell you anything. Stop looking at
I'll
me.
tell you anything.
Just tell me.
He like turned to stone. He's like a little Medusa.
Right.
And of course, Dragon Ball Z Super.
Yeah.
We're getting towards the end of it, actually. So, like I said, I've been really going slow on that. I've taken a little break from Monk
Hmm.
in general. I was like, we're gonna save that for the plans we have for October, so that's fine. And then I've been trying to finish my book as well, Tail Chaser Song. He's finally in like the court of the cats, essentially, like where the kingdom, the prince lives of all the kitty
Of
cats.
all the kitty cats. This is where they
Of all
talk
the kitty
about
cats.
who's taking the ring to Mordor.
Kind of. This is my first time reading it though, so I don't know the outcome. So I don't know on what level of Lord of the Rings equivalent we
Right.
would be on yet. I've also been trying to do like more meditations, but I keep falling asleep through them. So it's a work in progress.
I'm sure that happens a lot across the
Yeah,
board in meditating.
and breathe in and I'm like, all right, moving on. In this episode, we watched 1998's The Man in the Iron Mask. The release date was March 13th, 1998. Running time was 132 minutes. It was directed and the screenplay was also by Randall Wallace.
Wallace.
And it was based on the Vicomte of Bragelonne 10 years later by Alexander Dumas. It was produced by Randall Wallace, Russell Smith, and it was starring Leonardo DiCaprio, Jeremy Irons, John Malkovich, Gerard Depardieu, and Gabriel Byrne. The cinematography was by Peter Sash. This one got me. Sashitsky. Sashitsky. There
Yes,
we
there
go.
it is.
Edited by William Hoy. And I feel like that's the second time I've seen that name. I'm gonna have to go through our notes now. It's gonna bug me. I feel like he's also edited something else that we've done.
I will look it up real quick for you.
Music by Nick Glennie Smith. The budget was 35 million and the box office was 182.9 million.
Whoa. I don't remember it being that
Yeah.
popular.
I was like, wow, that was exponentially more than I thought. So now with the fun facts. This is the third in a trilogy of the books of Alexander Dumas's novels, which are about the adventures of Athos, Porthos, and Aramis. It includes the Three Musketeers and 20 Years After. And while the film is heavily fictionalized by the book it is based on, Louis did have a younger brother called Philippe in real life. But his life is very well documented, and there really was a man in the Iron Mask. He was first described by philosopher Voltaire on apparent firsthand accounts. But the masked man was kept under surveillance by armed musketeers at all times. In reality, the mask was actually velvet. It wasn't iron or anything like that. It was a precaution rather than a punishment. The guards were like under really strict orders. They weren't to talk about anything other than like daily needs, basically. But he did actually live in some comfort and relative luxury. He was moved from prison to prison to prison, the infamous La Bastille. But when he was died, he was buried under the name Eustace Dagger. but they think he could have possibly been an older half brother to Louis, and or the king's real father. Perhaps he was born from an affair from Queen Anne of Austria to a Bourbon nobleman named the Cardinal Richelieu. So, but either way, there was just, obviously some kind of weird shit was going down, and that's what the book was loosely based on. The Dumas based his plot and the case, and but the identity overall does remain like unknown.
Mm-hmm. Mystery.
So principal photography started in April 97. DiCaprio was only 22 years old. So prior to filming, he took a 1 week break after he finished doing Titanic in March of 97. Afterwards, he flew to Paris to do the movie. So this is like all of the notes that I had for the beach said that the beach was the first film
Right.
he
I was
did
just fixing
after
to ask about
Titanic.
that.
Exactly. So I want
Because when was
to
the
make
beach
a little
made?
notation
That was in
here.
2000.
It came out in 2000. I think they may have, yeah, they remember they did it really quick. So yeah, so he did do one movie in between for sure. So yeah, I just retract everything from the last one regarding that being him. And I'm like, there were multiple places that had that note. So that means just one person had got that wrong. And then people just kept sourcing probably that same original wrong source.
And that's how
Tisk tisk.
fake
And I
news.
perpetuated it.
Yeah, that's how fake news happens.
Exactly. Yeah. We'll go edit the episode. We're like retraction.
Yeah. I cared that much. So I really care what movie Leonardo DiCaprio did after Titanic.
It's historical documentation.
They probably have a whole website dedicated to just those facts.
I'm sure. So most of the film was done in studios near Paris, and also on location in a few spots, mainly the castles, to get more of those like outside shots and everything.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest scene that was built, or studio area, what soundstage or whatever, they did the waterways where they're all fighting, like in the end with the boats and all of that stuff. Like, so they built that actually. The original idea was to be like near an actual river, but if they were like, that would be crazy. Like, you can't control a real river.
Right.
So they built their own little waterway looking stage. So I thought that was pretty cool. They spent a lot of money. Yeah, they spent a lot of money on these sets. Like, there were 15 different sets on these stages. So that's like, quite an undertaking. And then of course it's supposed to be period pieces. So they really did their homework, for this era of like what was going on with the architecture and everything in France.
What cracks me up about that though is that they spend all that time researching that and wanting everything to be just, exactly correct. And then nobody has a French accent. They're like, that be damned. Right? Everybody's American in this movie.
Or British or
something, but not French. Definitely not French.
Not at all.
Not the main characters, at least. We have to be able to have the dumb Americans understand them.
They even had genuine living seaweed added into that water area that they built. Nice. But yeah, no one could have French accents. That would be too difficult.
That would be way too much.
So the great estate of Vaux-le-Vicomte has a history which involves many real life counterparts from who populate the castle. In 1641, Nicholas Fouquet, Fouquet, I guess, purchased the estate. It's about 40 miles from the capital. He was a 26-year-old financial secretary to the Cardinal Mazarin. And he enlisted these like great architects for the property. But by 1661, Fouquet's fate was sealed by Mazarin's private secretary, Colbert, who planned to ingratiate himself to the young King Louis by laying all the blame of the kingdom's financial ills at Fuqua's feet.
Mhm.
So he had hosted a magnificent party. The king of honor was the honor or whatever, the guest of honor. And then 3 weeks after this affair, he was arrested by the how do you say his name?
D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan. And
Yeah.
he was sent to prison and he died in 1680.
Hmm.
That's a little real history fact for
So there
you.
really was a D'Artagnan? D'Artagnan?
Yeah, that was yeah.
Oh, okay.
D'Artagnan was that real man?
Okay. Did not know that.
Very cool. Yes. You know me. This is why I love these kind of movies because I'm like, ooh, there's history, there's novels, there's literature.
You
It's so
snob.
fun.
I need
No, I'm just
sources
like,
to cite. I need.
well, because it's so cool that like they had this much fun. I mean, it was just like fan fiction back then, you know,
Right.
like they were like, oh,
Essentially.
this
Yeah.
guy's cool. Yeah, like I think that's just so, I think it's neat. So with the director, Randall Wallace, the other people who were responsible for the final look of the Iron Mask was the makeup supervisor, Gianetto Di Rossi, Leonardo DiCaprio himself, and Luigi Sebastiani del Grande is the artist who actually made it. De Rossi recalls that the process took a little while. They saw the mask in one of the previous movies, the 1934 to 35. They didn't like it because it was looked very much like this from this movie Metropolis that came out around that time. So it's like that weird, like Ayn Rand, like gray and brutalism looking kind of like look, and they wanted something that wasn't quite like that. So yeah, they kind of figured it out. They tried to fit it on Leo and he was very professional, so he wanted them to really like get the tightness and the feel. So they were able to really chisel it down according to them, and he gave the mask life. Leonardo DiCaprio said it could be very claustrophobic, so that was how he got into the character of how else would he not be just crazy? You know what I mean? If he
Mm-hmm.
lived like that for that long, like, because he was like, how would you just not want to scratch your face off and be like just this completely mentally disabled person at this point?
Mm-hmm.
So they took inspiration from like Nelson Mandela, basically, because he was like trapped somewhere for so long. And they said that, well, he came out and ended up ruling his country. So they said the mind must take over the
Mm-hmm.
body, and he's able to control himself and not completely lose it, which I found very interesting and didn't expect when he was coming into this
Well,
character.
obviously, because he was 22 years old, too. That's probably adversely why.
So the first choice to play Aramis was Anthony Hopkins. But he had turned it down because he was doing The Mask of Zorro with
He's like,
Antonio
I'm doing another Mask
Banderas.
movie already.
Yeah,
So
it's a lot in
masks
one
were
year, guys.
popular in 1998.
Obviously. And did The Mask come out? Was that more mid-90s, maybe with Jim Carrey? I can't remember.
That might have been
A
like a
lot of
few years
masks.
earlier, but yeah, there's a lot of masks.
Yeah. Sam Neill and Alan Rickman were also considered for the roles before Jeremy Irons accepted the part. And then here was another one that I thought you would like that I think really was a missed opportunity because I don't know, I feel like John Malkovich was weird in this movie. Like, and apparently Kevin Kline had passed on playing the opportunity to play
I mean,
Athos.
if Kevin
And I
Kline,
feel like
it would have been a totally different movie, though.
but Kevin Kline can do drama.
What? I don't remember him being in any dramatic movies.
I mean, I just assume he can because I like him
I
a
mean, I do
lot.
too. I love Kevin Kline. I just feel like it would have been a more comedic movie that way, though. Would have been different.
They could only have Gerard Depardieu as the comic relief, obs. So I got most of that from filmscouts.com and good old IMDb. So who knows how true any of it is.
Yeah. Your guess is as good as mine.
And with that, Jess is gonna take it away with the you googled summary.
The former musketeer Athos swears vengeance after despotic King Louis causes the death of his son. Summoning his old comrades Porthos and Aramis, he hatches a plan to liberate a shackled prisoner, rumored to be the king's twin brother, and then install him on the throne. But the three musketeers must also contend with their old friend D'Artagnan, who has remained in the king's service, that treacherous bitch.
So when was the last time you watched this one?
I thought I watched it recently, but apparently I'd only watched the first 30 minutes. But before that, it's probably
And then
been probably like 10 years, I want to say.
yeah, it's probably been since I was quite young. Yeah, when I watched this movie, teenager. Um, I did really like it. Probably yeah, like middle school age. Yeah, because that would have been about after when it came out. Yeah, and I remember watching it on VHS a lot.
Hmm. I watched it a lot too.
And I read some of the Alexander Dumas books when also around that age too. So I just really liked, again, I was kind of dorky in that sense with it had historical stuff or some kind of lore, attached to it. So that would make me go search out more stuff basically. And then of course, this was a Leo movie, so
Leo.
had to watch it. There was one fun fact I'm going to throw in here because it's relevant is that the target audience ended up, it wasn't meant to be like young people, obviously, because it's kind of a little more darker than I remembered. But it was almost like 70% were like girls under the age of like 19.
Duh. Leo. Leo
Yeah.
was a
And there was
phenomenon.
even he really was. And then even it was a big percentage of even young males just because he was cool, and it was a Leo movie as well. Like, so yeah, that was the last I had watched it. And like I said, I had really kind of fond memories of it.
Same.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I still enjoyed it this time
Yeah.
around. I had forgot quite a bit. Because it had been that long. I remember the main gist of it, but realized all the little juicy tidbits were had been forgotten. But so it was kind of like, ooh, watching it almost for the first time again in a
Right.
way.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I forgot about.
So we might as well just get right into it.
Y'all's, y'all's.
I love the intro. You get the French present.
Mhm.
We get the Bastille or whatever. And then he does a little peekaboo right through the door.
Peekaboo.
You get that Iron Mask look straight away. Like, oh my goodness.
So scary. I mean, it was kind of a creepy intro.
It was, yeah. They set you up for 1662 Paris, and there was unrest in the streets.
People are starving.
Yes, they are literally starving because the king is basically a piece of shit.
Yes. He's entitled, spoiled. You name it, he's that.
Pretty much,
He's
yeah.
pretty
All
much
of the
like
awful king
he's
things.
like the prince from Dragonheart.
Yes, yes. Or like King Joffrey and
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones. Any little selfish, snotty king.
Yep.
and we come to get a setup of our musketeers. They are older. They aren't young guns anymore. We see older Porthos and Aramis. This is Gerard Depardieu and Jeremy Irons.
You know what's funny about that is that when I watched this as a kid, I didn't get that they were supposed to be like the older version of the Three Musketeers, because to me the Three Musketeers were older anyway. So I was like, I didn't understand that they're supposed to be old, I guess.
Well, they do mention it a few times. I guess it's mainly though, Porthos talking about just feeling old and useless. Now he's not, basically just living a life of kind of
Was
fighting.
that Gerard Depardieu's character? I think it
Yes.
was more like his dick was getting old, is what he was upset about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. And right away, there's also like nipple and fart jokes, like just straight out the gate, which I thought was pretty funny too, because I'm like, whoa, I don't remember this at
No, I
all.
didn't remember that.
Little risque for
Well, I mean, Gerard,
considering young girls were watching it.
yeah, well, all the like prostitute references and stuff, and Gerard Depardieu's whole character.
Yeah, like total horn dog.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we've gathered that basically most of the musketeers have retired, except for the Grid D'Artagnan,
D'Artagnan.
otherwise known as Bootlicker.
Right. Well, you get it at the end why he's so committed to the king.
I still don't give a shit.
You're like, kid or no kids.
No. I D'Artagnan in this, like, my memory of this movie, he was so minuscule for some reason. And then why I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like, as this movie progresses, and like I said, I obviously forgot like the main overall thing. I just remembered, oh, they're twins and they got a switch. Like, spoiler alert, guys. D'Artagnan, it turns out that he's their dad. So I'm like, okay, okay, he has been, like I said, a bootlicker this entire movie. He's always basically like, I'm here to protect my king, like blah blah blah, my king. Like, yeah, you get, okay, oh, it was his son, so yeah, like extra protective. But when he's even talking to what Athos or whatever, when Athos loses his son, like, because he's like, oh, you don't understand. He was like, oh yes, fatherhood is a gift or whatever. Like, so you still had a son, long to be like a father figure to that son. You are kind of in a way still, like, and he's still being a piece of shit to his best friend,
Mm-hmm.
who's like, your son literally murdered his son.
Exactly, because he wanted to fuck
Like,
his fiance.
yeah, I'm like, and we get it. Oh, it must run in the fucking family of thinking with your dick,
Right.
because you basically had an affair on your original fucking king. Like, so you literally took your king's heir. Like, you took that from
Yeah.
him. Like,
Right.
that's insane.
But it's
Like, if you would have,
okay.
like, if we're looking at it like during, yeah, like this time period's eyes, like, fuck D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan. Yeah. First off,
D'Artagnan.
it's okay. Like, you don't want to betray the king because you're so, regardless if anybody even knew that was his son, you're so beholden to the king, but you'll fuck his wife.
Yeah. like
Like,
like this all
that's
this
not
like, I'm like, oh
betrayal.
my God. I know. And then what, Aramis is no better because he's like locked the kid up in the mask.
Well,
Like, so
yeah, because who
basically I
locked
was
the
like,
kid
oh
up?
my
He was the one
God.
who actually locked the kid up, Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeremy Irons, like physically, yeah, did it at the orders of the king. And then after that, I guess is when he like went into his little
Oh,
I'm
priesthood.
gonna be a priest man, or yeah, but still, like, I'm like, so basically this movie is just, oh, how the musketeers fucked everything up
Right.
and now they're trying to fix it years later.
Basically. how their guilty conscience finally got the best of them.
I I
Because his
just
son is
cannot,
basically just
like,
because his son died. That's what spurred it all on. Nobody gave a shit that everybody was starving and dying, and hey, maybe it's the king's fault.
yeah, they're literally just to help out Athos. They're like, oh well, now he has to stop
And
because he's harmed one of us.
right, that's the only reason. And why can there only be one brother?
Well, I guess because they're twins, so
Still, one of them's born
I don't
first. They're not born
exactly
at the
like the
exact
younger
same
one would just be
time,
the younger one.
so there's still an older brother.
Who knows? People were weird and
So
dumb
that
back
doesn't
then.
make any sense. Yeah, there's no telling what they thought.
After the D'Artagnan rant, we'll just rewind a little bit. So yeah, we were introduced to the Musketeer characters while also being introduced to Athos' son, Raoul, about to propose lovely Christine. I like neither of them.
You said you like neither of them.
Yeah. I do not like the guy who plays Raoul. So Raoul is very meek, but he is a soldier. He's trying to be a musketeer. Um, I guess because of who his dad is and everything, like, they get to mingle with the court a little bit, it seems like, which was actually to their detriment because the king then has his eye on Christine.
Right.
And sends Raoul off to basically die at the front lines. And even D'Artagnan even goes to him at one point and it's kind of like, hey, this is my really good friend's son. Like, please bring him back as soon as you can, or like protect him. He lies to him and even says, oh, I'll put him in the very back. But he specifically makes him go to the like cannon
Yeah, he's like,
area.
I want you right behind the cannon.
Yeah.
First fire, you're dead.
So yeah, that's pretty much the first third of the movie, I guess, is really just this kind of setup and the cast of characters, just how kind of conniving King Louis is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course what the agenda is for all of the musketeers. There's a problem with the Jesuits, I guess, is what they're
And what is that
implying.
again? What's a
The
Jesuit?
Jesuits, it's like a religious sect of some
Oh,
kind.
okay. I
Yeah,
knew
they're like
that part.
that's literally all I know off the top of
Okay.
my head. I should have also looked up that maybe for the fun facts, but I was like, eh.
Yeah, fuck it.
I've been busy the last 2 days.
I've been busy.
You guys are lucky that I found the French facts I did.
And you found groundbreaking facts. You untruthed the previous facts.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
We're shaking it down over here.
Hard.
Yeah, like true journalism over here. Looked up 2 websites.
So yeah, that's the overall setup. And then of course Raoul dies. And that's the kicker right there. That's the kicker. Because we get Athos just straight up like basically doesn't he like just murder some other musketeers? Like, and they do just let him get away with it. Even King
Did
Louis
he
is like, what
murder
the
them
fuck,
though? Or did he
D'Artagnan?
just, I know he stabbed one, but
I
did it act
mean,
like it was
he
that
straight up stabbed a guy in the middle of a
in the
chest, and
middle
it's
of a
like
courtyard?
1662.
Yeah.
That guy's dying.
They had rags back then.
Yeah, filled with like cholera. Or God knows what.
Syphilis, probably.
So who knows? Something awful. Just something probably awful. Or fecal matter at the very least.
Any bodily fluids everywhere.
Just everywhere. It was disgusting.
Can't even imagine.
So during this time, you're not getting like any of like Man in the Iron Mask Leo. We're only getting, shitty King Louis Leo.
King Louis Leo.
And then Yeah, that's what I called him in my
Louis
notes.
Leo.
Louis Leo.
Louis Leo. That sounds like a Seinfeld saying.
It does. So we're just getting little tidbits sometimes of like, oh, he's in a cell, or oh, he's looking out a window. I don't know. Like random kind of
He's
things.
looking out a window.
And we're getting a lot of scenes with the sets. It is a very big part of this movie. It definitely, I would say, is like the fifth musketeer of this
Is the
film.
sets.
Yes.
They're beautiful, man.
The castles, and you get to see the, of course, foreshadowing and for later and everything that's going to be put to use are all the little secret passageways that they have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, behind this armoire, and goes into this
Right.
bookcase, and so it's very cool. And immediately, as soon as he gets Raoul killed, he starts macking on Christine.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have that subplot going on there. Christine feels terrible. Like, she did truly love Raoul. She had every intention on marrying him. He had just revoked his proposal when he knew he had to go to war, because he was like, I wouldn't dare make her a widow.
Right.
Like, that's what a stand-up guy, John Malkovich, raised.
He was like, I love you,
John
Christine.
Malkovich, he's so soft-spoken, I feel like, a little bit in this one. Like, he's like very like, oh, it's okay. Like, I don't know. There's like this, like, I feel like this fake calmness almost to him, his
John
character.
Malkovich's character.
When he yeah, when he's like trying to be like, when the kid is alive, I feel like that's not him. And then when the kid dies and then he's just like a little bit more ornery and grumpy, I'm like, there we go. That's John Malkovich.
Right.
Like, it doesn't, like, the earlier
You're
didn't
like,
feel
no,
natural.
that's fake. Obviously, you don't like people.
I I know. I just get that vibe from him all the time.
Mhm.
I'm like, he's not supposed to like
No,
anybody.
he is always dissatisfied. Always.
Yeah, I feel like that's like the type of like
It is
character he
never good
always
enough
is,
for
kind
John
of.
Malkovich.
But like, I'm sure he really is like that kind of gentle and lovely guy in real life, I bet.
Oh, he's I
That's
bet he's a
funny.
little weirdo too.
Who knows? Yeah, probably.
I mean, have you seen Being John Malkovich?
That's true. That's true. um, so now at this time, like I said, this is basically the kickoff of what's going to get the story going. The Musketeers meet up again, and basically Athos is like, well, I'm down for whatever to I want to say Artemis, and I always get it wrong. Aramis. I'm sorry, Aramis. That's why I said I wanted to say Artemis, and I was like, oh my God, my brain. Okay. Ara Aramis has also been tasked by the king to find a Jesuit leader. As we mentioned, the Jesuits have a problem with how the king basically is starving his people because he's like giving all the food to the soldiers, and it's just the whole thing. It's a bunch of royal politic bullshit, and he's not taking care of his people. So obviously the Jesuits, who are like, I'm gonna assume supposed to be just kind of chill guys, watch that be totally wrong. We find out they like massacred people or something. I don't know. But
No
either
idea.
way, they're like not into it. So therefore that means the king is like, you're my enemy. And he tasks Aramis with finding the leader of the Jesuits. And turns out it's him. He's supposed to be
Oh,
finding himself. Oops. So, and then, like I said, with the loss of Raoul, basically
I
they're
like
like,
how
okay, this has got to fucking
and he
stop.
just dropped that bomb right away. He's like, "Hey, everybody, he wants me to find the leader of the Jesuits, which is me. I know we haven't talked to each other in a long time. I trust you all completely. It's me. I'm the leader."
Well, yeah, I mean, did trust them all completely at one
I
time.
know,
Like,
but they haven't seen each
they
other in a
rolled
while. They don't
together, you
know.
know?
Like, I don't know what kind of person you are now.
That's true. But basically, he's like, are you in it to help me? Which I will give it to Aramis at least. The whole time he has been obviously doing shit. Like, he's like a fucking secret Jesuit leader,
Right.
like against the king.
He's still doing
So, like,
masketeer
I give it
shit.
to him. Yeah, but like Athos and Porthos have just been slacking. And D'Artagnan obviously is just, like I said, licking boots. So
Licking more than boots, if you know
and
what
he
I
stays,
mean.
yeah, yeah. And he stays with that stance too. So basically all the other musketeers are like, I'm down. What's your plan? And then he reveals the plan because he's like, well, I locked this kid up, so I'll just use him again, get what I need, because that's what we're all fucking doing here, I guess.
Right?
And fucking this guy over. And they do it. There is a harrowing Mission Impossible style
Escape.
escape scene. Escape.
Escape.
And I would they have had fake beards back then?
Yeah, they did like Shakespeare and stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'm just wondering. I'm like, would they have? Like, how
They
did they
did
get it
dress
to
up.
stick? Yeah, I guess they had different kinds of. I mean, you could make like a
They could
paste
make
glue
a
thing. I don't
castle.
know.
They could make
Either
a fake
way,
beard.
I was like, yeah, that's true. But I was like, okay, so this is crazy that anyone would believe that, but okay. And they do it when the guy is supposed to be able to get like confession or, be with a priest or
Right.
whatever. So obviously they strap a dead body to him, smuggle that in with an iron mask on, do a little switcheroo there. So that way they can just be like, oh my God, he died. Oh well.
Right.
And they smuggle him out of there. And then we get the big reveal. And it is
Leo.
so incredibly disappointing.
The hair on the face.
The hair face. It was a choice.
I don't understand it. Is that supposed to be?
Because it's so perfectly like finger combed down, like perfectly around his features. But
I mean, I guess he
I'm
could
like,
stick
if
his fingers in
anything,
his eye holes to move his hair out of his way, but would it grow like that?
I don't think so.
That would be
Would it?
Fucking awful.
Wouldn't it just be filled with hair?
Yeah, like because does he have any room for it to grow out the back of the mask?
No. Okay, you know what? I don't believe you would grow hair. I think from the friction that you would actually have bed sores. Like I remember, this is the one thing I do remember the most about this movie is when they revealed his face. I was really wanting it to be like horribly like fucking scabbed and like just terrifying.
Well, because he would never be able to sleep.
That would be believable.
How would he be able to lay down?
I mean, I like weirdly.
Ugh.
It was a tight little mask.
Terrible. I'd be like, can you just throw some acid in my face and I can just go on about my day? Like,
right?
Just scar my face up so nobody knows who I am. Why do I have to literally live in a dungeon with an iron mask on?
Pretty much. And so then they're like, okay, makeover time, and then they're gonna My Fair Lady the coup d'etat, basically.
Yep. Then you see the bathtub full of brown water. Standard makeover scenes.
Standard makeover
like
scene.
Encino Man. Like Clueless.
So while they're going through their little transformation and really getting to know Philippe, we also get D'Artagnan and his ass macking it with the queen. And I mean, they are like in it.
In love.
If I don't kiss you, I'll die anyway. like it is.
Keep it in your pants, D'Artagnan. Was it once?
Yeah.
22 years ago.
It was laid on thick. Laid on super thick.
It was a romance. Maybe if it wasn't him, I'd be more into it.
Yeah, I know.
I can't.
Out of all the characters, I was like, really?
I don't like Gabriel. What's his name? Byrne.
Byrne.
Yeah, I've never been a huge fan of his.
Same. And this movie too, I was like, yeah, still, yeah. This is probably why I forgot about these parts.
Because you're not my favorite.
And it's funny because I do like him in other stuff.
I don't know why.
I did not. I like him okay in some things, but yeah, I just did not like him. Like, I guess it's just a character. I did not like D'Artagnan at all.
Yeah. And I feel like he's played like
it's really what it is.
He's played a character I didn't like some other time before, which was I was like, ugh.
yeah, like a skeezy guy,
Something,
right? Like
yeah.
kind of,
He's played some part
yeah,
I didn't
like I'll
like.
have to look it up later too. Yeah.
And I hold grudges.
So during this time, Christine has been being wined and dined. But basically she's been forced to sleep with him.
Obviously. She didn't
Um,
have a choice.
yeah, like they definitely imply like it's consensual a little bit towards like the one part, like, oh, she finally gives in, but like it is not.
She gives
It
in
is
because it's
no
the king.
way
What
is
else
it
is she gonna
supposed to
do?
be. Exactly. What is she gonna do? Exactly. So granted, he's helped her family, I think, like she's at least getting something from it, some kind of benefit.
Hmm.
But quickly that 180s, because eventually she's going to get a letter that was from Raoul, but it was addressed to her in the castle. So
Oh, he
Raoul,
already
because Raoul
knew.
obviously
Yeah.
he knew what was going on. Yeah, he knew he was been sent there to die. Because that's even why when he's running, he's like for
Hmm.
Christine, because he knows that he's just gonna die. So he's doing it for her. So he's thinking maybe she'll have an easier life, but nope. Um, because Christine's kind of been going with it because the king has done nothing but be actually pretty nice to her, and kind of have a whole facade and just like showing her what she wants to
Life
see,
could be with me, Christine.
and oh yes. But how quickly, like said that, reverses because she does kind of confront him because she's not into the love making at one point. And because she's still straight up of like, I'm really sad. And now I know that like it was probably done on purpose.
Hmm.
And then he's kind of like, true colors.
Right.
And he's like, I'm ordained by God. You're gonna go to hell, you fucking whore.
Yeah.
Basically. It was so fucked up. Like this whole, I mean, all of this, like I realized, yeah, when I was a kid, I was thinking, I thought like, oh, like, yeah, he wasn't a good king and he wasn't feeding his people. Like, I really forgot this was all about a girl kind of overall. I mean,
Right.
I guess it always is in kind of books, but again, I forgot that it basically the death of the son and because they wanted a girl. And then a lot and then just like the musketeers were all involved in this. And really it's just like a romance
Oh,
drama is
yeah.
essentially what this was, which again is what I forgot
Because
about.
you don't
And
like the
so even
romance
then
part
I'm
of
like, so
it.
let's yeah. So and the whole time, so we're going through the motions with this, and I'm like, oh my God, when is the sword fighting?
Not till the very, very end. And it's
Yes.
still
And we do
lackluster.
finally get it. And it was, I know, I was very disappointed. For some reason, all my memories consisted of like, I guess like his training montage and stuff like that. I guess I thought that was a little more of this movie.
Hmm.
And not just like, yeah, the kind of
Like that
throwaway
was my
montage
favorite
scenes in
part.
between
So
all of the love drama stuff.
the love drama.
The love drama. I'm like how like the Odyssey, everything over a lady.
All over a lady.
But eventually Christine hangs herself
Which I was not
and
expecting
make sure she
that.
does it right. Right. And yes, yeah, I totally forgot about that too.
Right in front of his window.
Yes, he's like, oh, get rid of it or
Yeah.
whatever. Like he's such a piece of
Such a
shit.
piece of shit.
And this is when I guess I think D'Artagnan is kind of like finally facing the
Hmm.
truth. Because now they've had some run-ins, like I said, with like the Musketeers. He knows they're going to be actively fighting against the king or trying to do something.
What's funny to me though, so as much as he tries to like mold or shape the king or whatever, and he turns out this way, Louis, he's got nobody to blame but
Mhm.
himself, really, because the genes are from him and the queen. They're not from the old king. So where does that asshole streak come from? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I know,
Oh, is that
like,
how
oh
the
my
queen really
God. I'm like,
is?
no, and it's D'Artagnan.
Hmm.
He's really the dick in this situation, I feel like. Because she wasn't even led to believe her son was alive.
Oh, that's right. Right.
Was she? Yeah, like, or did she know? I don't even know. Or maybe she did know
Either
he was
way,
locked
she was a
away, but
woman.
it
She
was
didn't have
because
a
her son
choice.
did it. Yeah. That's true.
So she was just a woman back then.
And pre Christine hanging herself, there was a big ball and a the party that he was having, and that was when they try to do the switcheroo and they fail basically.
Hmm.
It's like a big like holding in your breast scene. I was like a little that scene I did like because at least there was like an anticipation to
Right.
it. So that was kind of fun. But it was so even frustrating watching them fail. Like it was like, really? Like what the fuck?
Yeah, because you're like all that for not. And
Yeah,
still, like nobody was the wiser until he was like, "I'm sorry, I failed you." You're like, "Shut the fuck up."
I
He doesn't know who
know.
the imposter is, he dumbass. He does now.
Well, I mean, he kind of did, but I guess, yeah. Either way, I'm just like, why didn't earlier you just like be a piece of shit like he told you to be to
Because
start?
he
Like, that's all you had to
can't.
do. And that's why Christine dies. Like, I blame kind of Christine's death partially on them. If they would have just fucking figured things out and he would have went to bed like the queen had said and everything.
Hmm.
Like when that one lady fell, like that's where you should have been like, what are you doing? Like he should have been a total asshole to
Right.
her. And I think that would have like maybe
It wouldn't have alarmed their
made everyone be
suspicions
like,
as much.
as much perhaps.
So
Yeah.
obviously, D'Artagnan knew
But
that there was a twin also for him to be that suspicious automatically.
no, see, according to him, he had no
Oh,
idea.
that's
So
right.
that's what I'm saying. How would he have had no idea? But then he knows there's a guy who looks exactly like
Yeah.
him.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, because he
was that
said
before?
something
Maybe
about
he already
that.
talked to the queen. Yeah, it was just, yeah. So either way, I'm like, ugh, I hate his character in this.
Hmm.
Um, there's a big climactic ending, like I said, well, somewhat of a sword fight, and then King Louis gets all stabby, and kills D'Artagnan.
Hmm.
And I stand by that they had to kill him because at this point you fucking hate him so much that there's no redemption for him
Right.
other than him dying for, one of the sons, I
Right.
guess.
And that way, John Malkovich can be his surrogate father.
Yeah, there you go,
Because
exactly.
he said, "Will you think of me as a son, Dad?"
There you go. Little comeuppance for sure. Yeah. Like, and then I like how they're still like, oh, well, we let the bad one out of the
Prison.
prison and he got to go live in a cabin.
Yeah, he has to live
Like,
in a cabin in the
I'm like,
woods.
I'm like, you let that girl hang herself out a window, but you're like, oh, we had to let the king live.
Right. Because he's still the king or the king's brother.
Because he was still worthy of
Nothing.
because the
Of
king's brother was showing
nothing.
him compassion.
He was
No.
worthy of
I would
nothing.
have chopped his head off and been like, I'm the king. I made a deal with the devil that looked just like him. Bow before me. Like I would have scared the shit out of everyone.
And then they would have been like, we made a huge mistake. We should have just killed the original dickhead.
Well, that was The Man in the Iron
That
Mask.
was it.
I mean, I'd watch it
Oh,
again when I
yeah.
have like 2 hours to kill and want to watch like, fun little, yeah, adventure romance. And now that I don't mind the romance, I just wasn't into their romance.
Right. Yeah, that was not needed.
Yeah. And as always, you can find us at Film Gazers. We are on all the things, basically. I'm tired of naming them. And I also just want to point out the fact that I stupidly accepted a friend request on actual like Discord. I thought they were joining our actual Discord server, and I got like, oh, cool. And then I realized I made a terrible mistake and I accidentally accepted a friend request from someone I didn't actually know. And then they proceeded to ask me and call me baby
Oh,
girl.
gross.
And so I instantly blocked them. So if you do try to find us on Discord or whatever, that's cool. I don't even think this was someone who was into our podcast. I think it was from me being in like another like movie kind of Discord thing.
Hmm.
But I learned my lesson. I will not, so just we will not take like actual friend requests from people. But you are more than welcome to join the Discord. Just don't call us baby girl.
Unless you're The guy from Criminal Minds.
Unless you're from Criminal
Then you can call
Minds,
me
I
baby
guess,
girl
maybe.
anytime you want. Shamar Moore, just putting it out there.
And that's only for Jessica Shamar Moore, not me. Don't call me baby girl.
Yes, you can call me anything you want.
I'm not into that.
I like it. I don't know
It made
why.
me it made me so mad. This is the fucking fucker who's never even met me. And I'm like, fucking seriously? Like, I'm old enough to not be called baby girl.
Oh no, I don't want to be
I
called that
know
by a
that.
stranger. I'm just saying that's the only time it's acceptable.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that's why I was mad, like in my situation. I was like, really? And I was like, I'm gonna bitch about this on the podcast.
You're like, I'm in my 30s, motherfucker. Ain't no baby girl.
Baby girl, you don't know me.
all I can think about is that's what we call our cat Fatty, is baby girl. And we sing a little baby girl song to her.
But anyway, so as you can always find us on the social medias that way, and be on the lookout for that mini-sode that we'll release too. So time to hit dust the trail.
Until next time. Later, taters. Look at that. Oh, my God.
All right.